The fallout from the Harvey Weinstein scandal has created a tsunami of emboldened stars to speak out and share their tales of workplace abuse. Most recently, Alyssa Milano shared a new way to bring attention to sexual assaults on social media by tweeting, "If all the women who have been sexually harassed or assaulted wrote Me Too as a status, we might give people a sense of the magnitude of the problem." The raised awareness has a multitude of stars speaking out. This past Tuesday at the L's Women in Hollywood event, Reese Witherspoon shared personal experiences.
I have my own experiences that have come back to me very vividly. The guilt for not speaking up earlier. True disgust at the director who assaulted me when I was 16 years old.
Also speaking out that night was Jennifer Lawrence, who described a time that left her feeling humiliated.
A female producer had me do a degrading and humiliating nude lineup. The female producer told me I should use the naked photos as inspiration for my diet.
Will the newest uptick of inappropriate accusations sweeping Hollywood finally lead to better treatment of women in the workplace? You know, there's the perception of Hollywood, then there's the reality, and the reality isn't always one that meets up with perception. And I'm really happy that people are now finally coming out talking about this, because we'll get into this in just a minute, but the goal is by talking about it, you implement change.
Well, and it's gone way beyond Weinstein now. Weinstein was the catalyst. He was the jumping board. Now it's the industry in general. It's the whole attitude.
And it's more than the industry. I feel like you ended the tape with it's going into the workplace. It's going to all our lives.
Everywhere, not just Hollywood.
It's not just Hollywood. 54% of women say, yes, I have been a victim of not necessarily sexual assault, just sexual discrimination and abuse. It is rampant. And what I love about this moment is, like you're both saying, this catalyst for change. It feels like we finally got the right to vote. It's our version of the right.
Yes.
This will never happen again. It is no longer okay.
Yes.
And people realize it's a domino effect. People realize that they're making a point. There's strength and safety and numbers, and it's not just women, it's men too.
Sure.
Yeah.
That are standing up for the cause and say, yes, obviously it went on. That has to change. This has to be something that went on in the past going forward. It's got to stop.
I agree, and I feel like this is the first step to changing the conversation, because somewhere along the way, we made women or men, victims, feel as though they should feel ashamed and they should feel embarrassed. And, you know, and they were afraid to speak up because they may lose their job, or people wouldn't believe them. Right. Or they would say, oh, you wore that thing, or remember that time
you
when
were
you got drunk,
for it.
or you got drunk. Nobody asked for it. Ever. The only way you ask for it is if you say, can we have sex? And while you're having sex, you continue to say, let's have sex. And it's not just about touching. Sometimes it's about saying things. Like if you're always saying, oh, I like that dress, or that's harassment. If it's truly unwanted, it's harassment.
And as doctors, I mean, we're talking about healthy sex. There has to be mutual attraction, and there has to be mutual consent
and respect.
What I'm shocked by are
power.
You know, when these stories started flooding the airwaves, just some of the language used, because even a lot of this harassment was happening behind closed doors, and the comments that are made by usually these powerful individuals. And it's disturbing to think that this went on for so long. And I'm going to get back to in the industry that we call Hollywood, because Hollywood, whether we want to admit it or not, sets the bar for a lot of not only our country, but the rest of the world. There's a reason why people flood to Hollywood from around the world to come see what they believe to be America. This is America. And I think the fact that this harassment in Hollywood may be the catalyst to change is an important thing. I want to highlight that comment of change. Things are changing now. You're seeing more and more individuals, both men and women, saying, you know what, I'm not going to deal with this. I'm not going to work with people who do sexually harass others. You may all have heard this, but Channing Tatum actually stopped an enterprise he was involved with. His quote was, "The brave women who had the courage to speak their truth about Mr. Weinstein are true heroes to us. Our lone project in development with the Weinstein Company is a story about a boy whose life was torn asunder by sexual abuse. We will no longer develop it or anything else that is property of TWC. The truth is out. Let us finish what our incredible colleagues started and eliminate abuse from our creative culture once and for all."